Right, I'm back. Time to put the seat in. The arms, wing and inside back are on. Time to put the seat in. Let's show you what we're going to be using for this. Like I said, I'm going to spring the seats. So we're going to use these 9 gauge zigzag seat springs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4 will do it. So we need to attach them with spring clips here. These are attached with this big nail gun or staple gun with the 1-inch staples, and then we're going to put a sin wire across the springs using this clip gun. What that actually does is makes the springs act more like one unit rather than individual units. So when you sit, certainly on sofas, if you sit on one side, it tends to distribute the weight more evenly across the seat platform. So there you have the parts, materials, bolt croppers to cut the springs to length because they're 31 inches, and they've got to go in here. We've got a good seat rail on the front and the back, albeit they've warped a little bit. You can see a slight curve in there, but not significant enough for me to worry about using the zigzag springs because they will put tension on these rails. So let me put the camera up and I can get on with getting this seat in. Okay, so first things first, get the springs in. Or spring clips, should I say, 4 springs are going to be fine for me. It's certainly going to be a major improvement over what was in there. Polyester webbing and about 3 pieces of elastic webbing. So attaching the spring clips with standard 10mm staples just to get them onto the front. And the 10mm staples aren't too bulky that they will get in the way of the framing staples. Try and keep them evenly spaced, but in the centre of the seats. No point putting the spring tight up against the arm because it's not going to do anything, because it's too close to that. Keep the springs facing in the same direction, just because my OCD will tell me otherwise. Let's tap the spring clips down. Staple gun. Hopefully we get them first. Get 4 out of 4. 4 out of 4. Right, so that's that one on. Pull the springs to the front. So tension in these springs, you do want a bit of tension in it. Not so much tension that you're stretching the spring out. You've got to cut the springs, leaving enough of the tail room, for want of a better word, so that the spring can't slide out of the spring clip. I've seen that done many times. Let's see if I can show you on these cuts. Here we go. Right, spring off cut. You can see this is the manufactured end. It's got this nice hook on it, so when it's the clip's on here, it's not going to pull out the clip. I've seen these cut many times about here, so you've got a straight edge and they can come out the clips. So we always leave a tail on it so that this prevents it from side to side and sliding out of the spring clip. I'm just giving the springs pull to the front, put some tension in them. Snip it further forward than I want. Yeah. A couple of staples in there just to make sure. Same as the back. Just tap them down, clips down. Manufacturers don't put a staple in these to hold them in. No other reason that I can think of than sheer laziness. There you go. They're not coming out of there in a hurry. Put your tools back, you know where they are. Right, sin wire. This wire here, we need to put this gun on. I'll show you what this actually does in a minute. I'll bring the camera down to give you a better look. Just get this on and then I can show you what I've done. You don't need to necessarily have this gun to do this job. You can do it almost as well with string. whips. So they're put on. Cut the excess off. I'll just bring the camera down and show you what I've done there. So there you have the sim wire put in. I've got 2 whips of it. So when you push down on one spring, you see what's happening? It's pulling on the other springs as well. Gives you a lot more stable, durable seat. And that's 100% better than what was in there. So I just need to canvas this now and put the foam back in, layer Lux Bond, and that's ready for the top cover. This way, and then we'll get a piece of remnant of fabric. Is that big enough there? That will do it. Without the canvas on it, the springs will cut through the foam. The foam will fall through the bottom. The canvas does also aid with support. That's primary purpose is to stop the filling, the seat stuffing, filling from falling out the bottom of your chair. Makes you wonder why some companies don't do that. Or is it because they don't want their furniture to last particularly long, because then you're not going back and buying more. They will potentially shift the blame onto the piecework upholsterers that they have working for them. So they're instructed to do it, they don't do it. I'm not sure whether that's always the case. It's simple mathematics, isn't it? The fewer steps you do, the quicker you can produce. The more profitable it is for both the piecework upholsterer and the manufacturer. A lot of the time, the market dictates what people are willing to pay for their furniture. So, if you're working in a market that's cost driven, very competitive, small profit margin, yeah, not putting the canvas in. This is saving us how long it's taken me to put this canvas in. A few minutes. I'm not even having to purchase the material, I'm using a remnant, so there's no cost. They can save a few minutes, but they will. Sometimes it may cost more to have something reupholstered than buy new. As your local upholsterer probably won't be skipping steps like they are. Doing the best possible, like them. So seating is right. In goes the foam. On. Same manner it was done originally. We'll add Lux Bond over it. Now, just to take the edges. When I was stripping the frame, I harrissed off or chamfered off all the sharp edges anyway. Because there was a lot of sharp edges there from the original frame manufacturing again, another process that they could save a little bit of time not doing. Use a fairly heavy, or another way of putting it, thick Lux Bond. That's it, putting 2 and 4 ounces of Lux Bond on, you don't get any real benefit from them, in my opinion, other than the fabric can slide easier over the foam. For reupholstery. Thicker one helps. Now we've got to fold the fabric around these legs, and there's just enough of a row underneath to staple that. Legs aren't removable. Well, no, the legs aren't removable on this. Albeit they're just plastic legs, they are screwed into the frame in 4 places, so not really much to take them out. So we'll upholster around them as we would have done on the antique furniture, where the legs would have been an integral part of the frame. I've just become very aware that I may be mumbling. I hope not. Right, that's the seat stuffed up. We've got the seat fabric already cut. We need to get that on nice and straight with the back. Where's the back? There it is. Take it over that way. We've got just enough fabric on there. Yeah, we need to go that way because we've got more stuff on the other side. No. Right. I think I'm going to have to recut this seat because the way the pattern is, it's not centralised. So I'm going to recut the seat. I have a piece of fabric left. This piece of fabric that I'm using for the seat was meant anyway. I'm hoping that it would do the job to save a bit of fabric, but that's unfortunately It's nearly a metre of fabric I could have saved. But it was all calculated into the usage anyway. Right. So lay your fabric on, get it into your position first before you make any cuts. Tucking it under the arms. Check everything, check the lines, check I've got enough under the front, check that I've got enough going through the back. I want to pull it forwards a bit if I've got plenty of the back. And the line coming through the back and through the seat. Plenty of fabric here at the back, so I can pull that forward, give myself a bit more on the front to work with. Don't need to make life hard for myself. The staples in the centre. Now, because of the lines or stripes on this fabric, I could just pull this fabric over by eye and judge it by the stripes, make sure they're equal. But just because I can, doesn't mean I should. I'm still going to measure and mark it for the sake of the 30 seconds it takes to do it. I want it to be right. Put it front to back, smooth it over on the hand. Tug, not really get as hard as I possibly or as firm as I possibly can. No need to. Right, that's a fabric positioned. Now I can look at making cuts. Tuck fabric through again. Just check in as you go each step, because can't undo the cuts. Want them to be right the first time. Right, making the cut to go around the back rail first. Left hand side done, right hand side. Just take it through so it's holding it. So now we can staple the fabric. Give it a little pull towards the front. I'm going to pull that under and put a staple underneath there, but intention that I will probably have to take that particular staple out is just to hold the fabric in place and the line straight whilst I make cut to go around the front of the barn. So there's a rail here. I need to cut the fabric to go around this rail. You've got to get this right because it could be seen as all the cuts. You've got to allow enough fabric to fold it down this edge here. I'll show you better on the other side. Explain that. I'll just do this side. So cut around this rail here from the seat. It's getting a bit warm in here today now. It's still mid-morning, late morning. Temperature's rising a little bit. So we've got the fabric pulled through here. So now we've got to fold this down here. Fold enough under so that it's not just going to come out at some point. Try not to distort the stripes too much, but get enough tension in there that I'm not concerned that it's going to come undone. Right. Take off sides of the seats. Pulling it towards the back. Now pull it towards the front. And fill the gap. And the other side. Nice strong seat platform, straight central, job done. Just trim off the excess this side. I want to try and just tuck it in somewhere or staple it up. Like my jobs to look neat. Stages. Fabric off, not right up tight against staples. You fold fabric out and staples. That adds to it. This Lux one I'm going to fold and tuck in. It helps prevent fingers being pushed down the side there. Seat platform, so all up, everything in place. Right, the seat. We've got to put something around here. So, pull this across. So we're going to pull fabric here. So step it up. I'm going to make a cut from this direction to this corner, which is the back edge of this leg here. I'm going to then cut the salvage off, fold that fabric under, pull it tight across here. Okay. over. Staples up there. Now pull this piping down for this outside bar. That off. Right, hopefully you can see that. So there we have that cut and folded around that room there. Very similar process with the front leg. First off, I'm going to pull some tension in it, get this front edge nice and even. And that staple that I put in earlier is okay. Right, so we've got this, we've got to put pleat in here. I could just fold that like so and leave this fabric on, but I'm going to cut some of this off because otherwise it creates a lumpy pleat. I'm going to cut the sandwich off and then fold that under. We've still got a good inch of fabric underneath there. And it's stapled down, so nobody's going to put their fingers underneath there and pull that out. I'm just going to put a staple on there, temporary one, just so I can make my cut around the front of this leg. That's a staple my way there. Underneath the edge there, make sure my pleat is in the right place. Pull that nice and tight here. Staple underneath edge. 2, there you go. So that's that front edge done on that side. Do the same again on the other side now. So, with this fabric being a relatively thin linen style fabric, it's quite difficult to work with. You can't really hide anything with it because it does follow the contours of everything. So you need to keep everything lump and bump free. Which is difficult on reupholstery furniture because you're fighting something that might have a good few years of wear. And we're recovering, we're not reupholstering, i.e. we're reusing what is there. We are adding to it to a certain degree with like Lux Bond and canvases, etc. But we're not replacing anything there. So this is where experience comes in to be able to make the best of what you have within the restraints placed sometimes you just have to go sort of I've got to do the job properly. So, you know, you may have quoted to do something and not quoted that, i.e. the seat on the customer was happy with the seat and the way it felt, but I was not happy with it. I didn't think it was going to last, and I didn't want the customers coming back to me and saying, oh, the seat feels different. Well, yes, it feels different now, but different good. We like customers that we never hear from again. To a certain extent we do. We don't want people phoning back complaining. We want to hear back from them when they say, oh, fantastic job with that, we've got another project for you to do. Or we'd like to recommend our friend to you. Right. That side done, nice, tight, crisp, tailored pleats. There we go, that's the seating. So much better than it was originally. Gets reupholstered again, hopefully it'll be by myself. The next person will be grateful that I've done the seat properly. Outsides now, so we've got see that there. Outside wings, outside arms, outside back to go. This didn't have, well, it had a piping on the wings, but the fabric was different, and they actually stapled the fabric on the outside and piping in one go, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. I do it myself, but the fabric that was on there was far more forgiving than this linen, so I'm not going to be able to do that with this one. So I am going to pipe it, but I'm going to have to use the metal claw to back tack up to the piping as we do it. And the piping will run round from here, from under the arm, round and right away across the back, down the other side, down the other wing and underneath there. The only piping on the outside arm is theoretically the piping that's attached to this facing here. It's going to be there. The outside back will only have piping along the top edge, not the outside edges. So I need to, I've got hopefully enough piping. We need to get this set up. I find it a lot easier to do this because I'm only 5'8" to do this with the furniture on the floor. So I'll be back to you once I've had a cup of tea and I'm ready to start doing something with the outsides. Right, so here we have it on the floor. It's easier for me to work down here than up on the trestles. So first off, we're going to get this piping on. So going to give that a tap on the end. Turn that bit off as it's going underneath the arm. I want it to create any choose one that comes to do the outside arm. So run the piping around, leaving about an inch of the wing exposed, so it's a nice chunky looking wing. Soft curve. Up so we can do along the back. Well, I know that if I keep this edge here an inch, then they should match on each side. Again, give this piping a tap so it doesn't create any run on the outside arm. Okay, right. So now we're going to use the metal back tacking strip, which you've seen before. It's this one, the claw as I referred to it. Nasty stuff, but it does the job. Got to get this position right so it doesn't crush the piping, but goes up tight against it when folded down. It's a visual thing. I can see the pipe in the edge and how far, and judge how far it's away. It's an experience thing. Take this right the way around the edge. Paid for it, so I'm going to use it. Another reason for doing soft curves when you're using this is because it will go round a curve but not too tight, so you have to bear that in mind when I'm putting my piping on. I've just relaxed that. get it started. Now, we've got a pattern obviously on this outside arm here, as you can see. So I'm going to try and continue the pattern on the wing as well, because then when I put the outside arms on, it will hopefully match. So that's the theory of this. That's big enough. Off following the piping. We don't want too much of this Lux one trying to go underneath that claw, because it can allow the fabric to slide out from the claw if the claw hasn't penetrated through the fabric. Right. Outside wings, outside arms. So, to get this pattern on, we're going to follow the pattern on the arm. You also want to keep it going vertical. So this line of the chair is horizontal, so we need to try and keep it horizontal with this line here. Little flat bladed tool. This was once upon a time a long needle like so. We use them for tufting on horsehair and so on, but this one that I modified for me to use for poking, I suppose, is for want of a better word. Right, so to try and keep that horizontal, you don't need to, but I am going to take my straight edge, put that along there, and try and make sure that I've got horizontal line. Just tuck that in, so I'm going to cut off most of that salvage. We only need about ½ an inch to tuck underneath there. So it's a little bit like everything else, positioning stuff. Well, that's a happy accident. The outside wing lines up. Right, so top there, down to this side, bottom. Now that's our fabric held into position. going to trim off using the piping. Here is a guide. In fact, I'm just going to start this top corner. Just move it up with my hand, tuck it in. Pushing the piping out of the way so the claw can do its job, and the piping conceals the hard edge somewhat. Take time with this, like everything else. You don't want to get it wrong, because then you've got to replace the fabric, replace the core, potentially replace the piping. So try and get it right the first time. Use my hammer and my regulator. Regulator I'm going to run along the line of the welt. I'm going to hammer the claw down, pushing the welt out of the way. The regulator as I go. Bit is the corner of the bend. Judge the position of the claw right to start with. I'll still have a nice piped edge. When we come to put the outside arm on, the line should all correspond. Spot on, as you can see. Got the line, well, you can see, got the lines coming through, matching on the wing, the inside arm, and the outside arm. So this is back tacked underneath on this rail. So put the staple here to make sure it stays central. Just fold it over, just check that. Okay. Staple at each end. And get cardboard back to the strip. Now we've got to use a claw along this piping here at the front edge. Same as the wing, to try and locate piping or claw in the right place. When it folds over, it goes up to the piping, it doesn't crush the piping. With this particular claw, it basically means I've got to put claw, the edge of the claw about 3 mil on a stitch line on the piping. It off, there we go. Use a bit of our bugs bond that's left, bottom rail and back rail. Along the edge of the claw. Pull this over. Again, trying to keep our lines vertical. Start at the centre. Front, now couple at the back.
One, yeah.
Again, with the claw, let's try and turn that so I've not got my back to you. Need to trim that outside wing, outside arm gun, and hopefully you can see the stripes there. Match up on camera. Okay, so that's the other side to do, and then the outside back. The process is the same, obviously on the other side. The outside back, the process is very much the same. So I'll come back to you once the outsides are on and ready to put the bottom cloth on. That's the job almost done. I just need to Lux bond the cushion fill and stockinette that, which I'll show you me doing that. I just putting a bit of extra on there, but the stockinette helps the cover slide over the Lux bond. Personally, I think all cushions should at least have stockinette on them. So I'll come back to you at that point, and we'll see how we get on. Back very soon. Okay, so the chair is done bar the cushion. I will spin you round and show you the finished product once we've got this cushion done. This is the original fill. The customer wants to reuse this as it's comfortable enough. It's actually fine to fill. I don't think it's not had a lot of use, this chair, to be honest with you, so the fill's fine. We may not, the corners may be a little bit rounded off, but hopefully by adding this Lux bond onto it, it should still fill the cover nicely. Anyway, so got some 8-ounce Lux bond, 8-ounce Lux bond there. We're just going to recreate what we've got here, where it's just on the top and the bottom, and then the only difference being is that I'm going to stockinette this cushion, as we do with all our cushions, just so that the fabric glides over the Lux bond better, and that's literally the reason is for it. There you go. So, yeah. This is, I'm just using a standard 5-strength adhesive here. You can get it in the small tins from possibly DIY shop, or carpet fitters use a lot of this as well. So they may sell you the tins when I say this compared to this. So that's glued onto there. Now we just trim off the excess. Now I'm going to be putting the stockinette on. The cushion manufacturers that we use, or I'm sure most people use, will have a heat sealing press. I think is the best way to describe it, for sealing the stockinette, closing it off, because it just comes on a massive roll. I don't do that many cushions to warrant the expense of buying one of those pieces of equipment. So for many years now, we've just been gluing the stockinette closed. You'll see in a minute what I mean. I have seen a couple other different ways it's done, where people cut a slot into the side of the cushion and tuck the stockinette in that. That's okay if, for example, what we're doing here, we just stop Lux bonding the top and bottom. Then you could cut that and theoretically, I think, do that. I'm used to covering the whole thing, so I'm going to stick with what I know. I know it works, so I'm not going to change it. Yes, so my point is I can't afford to buy one of the heat sealing machines for this stockinette, sometimes referred to as cheesecloth. You may have seen it for polishing cloth of cars back in the day, or as it says, cheesecloth, but I'm using it to wrap my cushions. Also use it on bench seating as well, on the seating on that again, because it allows the fabric to glide over the Luxbond rather than potentially gripping it, dragging it, tearing it, and then creating all sorts of lumps and bumps. So that is the reason why. So paying attention, there's going to be a quiz on this. Just kidding. Right. I was shown how to do this by a colleague, should I say, a teacher, colleague in my apprenticeship, a guy called Alf, or affectionately referred to as Alfie. He showed me how to do this. It's how he did cushions himself for many years. Only gets to be messy if you've got an awful lot of cushions to do. You end up with a glue stuck to your hands. So that's one end done. The cushion, give it a little shake. Pull this net tight. Cut off the excess, keep hold of that, comes in handy. Do the same again this side. Do it on the sides, not front and back. So certainly not the front on square cushions, not front and back, because if you turn them around you could potentially see any lumps and bumps that this may cause on the end. So always close the stockinette up on the sides. There's no danger of causing any issues there. Those scissors are getting blunt. We used to have, referring back to when I was an apprentice with Alfie, we used to have a guy that used to come round and sharpen our scissors for us. Periodically he'd come round. It was every 3 months, I'd say. You'd pop him, you'd give him your shears, knives if you had them, and you'd take him outside and he'd find a nice edge back on them again. And you knew it when they were done, they were very sharp again. See, it makes such a difference. Well, I do believe once upon a time some of the cobblers and the lights like Timpsons we have a lot of now here. I don't know if you have them where you are that do shoe repairs, but you used to be able to take your knives and scissors into there. But now it's not really a service you see much of. Shame, because nothing wrong with them if you put a new edge back on them, so you learn to do it yourself. When I get a little bit of time I must get my scissors all sharpened up again, because they are not cheap to replace. Right, so here's the cover. It was cut to the original template, or the original cushion that was in the job. Use that as the template, so there's no reason why it shouldn't fit again. This foam is what I would call like a medium density foam. It's not the firmest we use. The firmest can make cushion filling quite a tough job to do, because it doesn't compress as much as this one does. So just trying to get the foam into a cover can be a bit of a fight at times. This medium one, not too bad at all. So I'm making sure that the foam is right into the corners of the cover, and I'm also laying a selvage on the welt in the cover down the side of the cushions, or cushion in this case. So making sure works is still the right way round. Even though there's no welt on the back, I'm still making sure that the selvage is going down the side. Tuck the zip in to its pocket on the end, slide up. Visually inspect it as you go along. And you pretty much have it. I put my scissors down. There's a couple of cottons that I need to trim off. Cushion done. It's filled nicely. Right, so we'll put this into the job, spin the camera around and show you the finished item. Right, there we go. There you have it. done. Stripes nicely matched, cushion fits okay. There's a cotton now I need to cut off. And there we have it. A nice Parker Knoll style fireside wing chair in a striped cotton, sort of mimicking ticking in a sense, but this is it's like an oatmeal with a steel colourway. It looks really nice. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Not meant to be instructional, it's just to show you what's going on here in the workshop. Other people have other ways of doing things, but there you go. We get the results that I want, and more importantly what our customers want and deserve and pay for. So hope you enjoy it. I'll keep putting the content out there. Hopefully you could hear me all the way through this. Most of the time it's just down to me mumbling, because when I'm in here on my own there's no need to raise my voice. So I hope you enjoy this. Please like and share, it means a great deal to me, and I look forward to reading the comments if there are any. I'm always happy to help. Thanks again for watching. Cheerio.